How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Like Life Fishing. Today I'm going to be showing you how to operate and use a Chinese diesel heater, giving you a few of the specs on it, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on these cheap heaters after using one in this van for an entire year. Let's get into the video. Alright, let's start this video off by showing you guys how to use the control panel for your Chinese diesel heater. So first things off, you're going to start off right here. You're going to see a clock. This runs on military time. And to change this clock to whatever you want, you're going to tap this button right here once. You're going to see the number blink. You're going to use the up and down arrows to change to whatever you need it to be at. You're going to use the OK button to go to the next number. 2, again, 3, 2, OK again, 7. And then when you get to the end of it, you're just going to press this button again. Now what that's going to do, it's going to bring you to a timer area. Now the timer never really works for me whenever I tried using it. It's kind of confusing. I never really messed with it, to be honest. But this is basically what this does, is it allows you to set your heater to a timer, so it'll turn on and off at different times. But again, it never really worked for me, and it's kind of confusing, so I never messed with it, so I don't do anything with that. Eventually, it'll reset back to the clock. So now to switch through to different views on your screen, you're going to press the OK button. This screen, it says 17 degrees Celsius. There is no Fahrenheit on these. 17 degrees Celsius, this is telling you the internal temperature of the vehicle. Next one, this is what the diesel heater is set to. This is the goal temperature that you have it set to. And as you can see, the lowest that we can go with this heater is 8 degrees Celsius. And 35 degrees Celsius is the max for this. So internal temperature, what it's set to. And then this is just telling you the voltage of your battery. So we're running at 12.6 volts currently. And the next area is going to show you the error code. So if you have a booklet with your unit, if it's showing an error code 0 or 0.1, you can look up in your booklet and see what error code is running, or you can look it up online as well. One thing I'd like to show you is the internal temperature. You can also set that to hertz. So what you're going to do to set that to hertz is by pressing the up arrow, the sun, that switches it to hertz. This is basically telling you how many revolutions the pump is going to do in a second. So 4.9 pumps in a second. It goes all the way down to this one, I believe, goes down to 1.7. Now moving on to starting your heater. Starting the heater is fairly simple. The first thing you want to do when you first set up your unit, though, is you're going to want to prime the pump as well as prime the engine. You have your fuel tank, but your lines might be empty. So what you're going to want to do first off is you're going to want to hit the OK and the down button at the same time. H will pop up, and you're going to hit the up button. You'll see on. The fuel pump icon will show up, and you can hear it in the background. Currently, right now, the fuel pump is taking diesel fuel from the tank and is priming the engine with it. And once that is finished, the pump will shut off and we can continue. Now to start your diesel heater, it's fairly simple. You're just going to press your power button. It's going to flash on. Now you'll notice a couple things popped up. One, your fan icon started moving. You also have these two arrows, a blue and red arrow. That is telling you that you have oxygen coming in and the exhaust is going out properly. The engine will not function if these are not flashing. This is just letting you know that you have proper airflow coming in and out of the engine. And this right here is your glow plug. This is telling you that the glow plug has been engaged and is starting to heat up. So we'll let this heat up for a little bit and we'll continue on from there. At this point, you might be able to hear the fuel pump starting to go. You can see a bar just appeared right here. That is how hot it is on the inside of the engine. It will continue to get higher and higher, flashing different colors, yellow and red when it's at max heat. The fan will pick up even louder. The fuel pump is pumping faster and faster right now to supply the proper amount of fuel to get the engine going. You can see it's getting hotter and hotter. And it's starting to blow out hot air. Now as you can see, we've reached maximum heat. The glow plug is hot. The engine is properly running. We've reached max. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to here. going to turn everything down. I'm going to turn it down to low because it's not very cold out right now, so. And at this point, our diesel heater is running efficiently. It's running on its lowest setting right now, which is 1.7 pumps a second. Let's change this to turn temperature, so we're at 8 degrees Celsius. Internal temperature is 19 degrees, of course, much warmer. And as you can see, it is starting to get warmer in here now that the heater is on. It's going from 19 to 20 degrees. Now to shut down your diesel heater, because we're doing everything manually, all you're going to do is you're simply going to hold down the power button until it flashes off. The fuel pump will stop pumping fuel into the engine, and the fan will continue to run as the glow plug and the engine cools down. Now, one thing you never ever want to do with these diesel heaters is you never want to unplug it from the power source when you shut it off or while it's running. When you power it off, you need to go through the control panel and you need to let that fan cool the engine down. If you were to unplug it, there is nothing circulating fresh air through the engine or the fins, and you can destroy the internals of this heater. And now, as you can see, the fan has shut off. Our heater has cooled down to about the halfway point, and that's when it no longer needs the fan. It can just naturally cool down. Now, as far as my personal opinion on these heaters, I think they're great for what they are. The downfall of them, and I think there's 3 of them, are the fuel consumption, the electrical consumption, and of course the fuel pump. Starting off with fuel consumption, as you can see right back there, that is a 10-liter fuel tank. And in the wintertime, I would run my heater for about 8 hours per night. And I would usually run it on the lowest setting, usually 1.7 or 8 degrees Celsius, just because I didn't really need it very hot in here. I just needed to keep the chill off while I slept, because I personally like sleeping while it's cold. And even then, the heater would use about a quarter tank per 8 hours. So in my opinion, you might be able to get 5 nights off of a tank if you're lucky. That's being generous. So 4 to 5 nights off of a single tank if you're running it for 8 hours a night. You might be able to last longer if your van is insulated and you only run it for, say, 4 hours and then just go to bed and sleep through the cold and just let the heat wear off. You might be able to get it to last a lot longer. The way I was using it, because I don't have a ton of insulation in this van, was 8 hours per night continuously on the lowest setting, and it was about a quarter a tank. So 4 to 5 days as far as fuel goes. Now, as far as electricity goes, as you already saw, I run this heater off of my Jackery 1000, and the Jackery supplies plenty of electricity to the heater, and I believe the heater only takes about 30 watts to run, if I remember right. But again, the electrical consumption is still pretty high. Again, I would run it 8 hours a night, and usually on the lowest settings. So the fan was not running high and the pump was not running high. And even then, it would run about 30% per night. So with my Jackery, I could run it maybe, again, 4 to 5 days off of my Jackery without charging it. Now, luckily, I have solar panels, so during the daytime, the battery would charge back up. But if you didn't have solar panels or anything else, I'd say 4 to 5 days. If you're only looking to go off grid for maybe like a week or half a week, you having one 10-liter tank is going to be plenty for you, and having one Jackery or a battery similar to a Jackery is going to be plenty. If you want to go for any longer, you're going to have to bring diesel with you, or you're going to have to be near places that you're going to be able to fill up and charge your batteries. So that's the downside with the heaters. It takes a lot more fuel and a lot more electricity than I'd like it to, compared to a propane heater, which takes a lot less fuel and takes no electricity for the most part if you have a certain type of propane heater. Now, the final problem with these diesel heaters, of course, and I think everybody who has one says the exact same thing: the stupid fuel pump. These fuel pumps are some of the most annoying things on planet Earth. I hate them with a passion. The one I have it wrapped up so tightly in different stuff, sound deadening materials, and I can still hear it, and it just angers me. I compare these diesel pumps to Chinese water torture. You're laying in bed and you're just expecting the next click. They're so annoying. And I know that there are people who make special boxes with sound deadening material to obviously make it quieter, and it seems to work well. Another one of the problems because of the pumps is, of course, you have nylon fuel line, which sound travels through the nylon fuel line, of course, because you're touching things, so you need to have that elevated to keep it purely soundproof. And I have mine stapled to the floor so it doesn't move around. So overall, I think those are the 3 major downfalls of the heater. So these are just all things to think about. Again, I think the diesel heaters are a great option. They're quite inexpensive. I bought my heater for about $140, I believe. And of course, as always, there will be an Amazon link down in the description below if you want to pick one of these heaters up for yourself. They're all over Amazon. They're a dime a dozen. Overall, I really like these Chinese diesel heaters for what they are. They get the job done. There's some downsides, but hey, I think they're pretty good. Well, there you have it, folks. That's my video on how to use one of these cheap Chinese diesel heaters, as well as my honest opinion on it. If you like this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.